Welcome to the Skills for Secondary School Success 4S Curriculum Professional Development session on Unit 1, Learning with a Sense of Purpose. In this session, we will learn about the key activities in each lesson for Unit 1. Then we will review how the whole set of lessons connect. In Unit 4, Interacting with Others as We Learn Together, students will participate in a connection circle, a restorative practice that builds relationships by honoring students' voices and cultivating agency. Meeting in a circle with no specific starting and ending point establishes a level playing field for all participants. Use of circles dates back to a time when people would sit around a fire so that everyone had equal access to heat and light. Members of a school or a community can meet in circle arrangements when there's an issue that is relevant to everyone present. Circles are powerful symbols of community, connection, inclusion, fairness, equity, wholeness, and belonging. Belonging, feeling like an integral part of the community, is essential to student motivation. We want to experience this as a learning community ourselves as we seek to build the same kind of community in our classrooms. Engaging in connection circles in which we share our own experience and listen closely to that of others is a key step in this process. In this PD setting, we cannot all sit around a real circle with other people, but we will simulate the reflection experience that connection circles foster. For this connection circle, we are inviting you to choose one of the ideas on this page to think about. Finding newness in the sameness. What do you do on a regular basis that gives you a sense of purpose? We are all one success story. If you were to write and deliver your very own and current valedictory speech, underscoring the belief that every narrative matters, what might be the one purposeful learning you would highlight? Visiting your 13-year-old self. If you could sit with your 13-year-old self, what would you tell her or him about learning with a sense of purpose and belonging? Feel free to jot your ideas on a piece of paper or to just hold your thoughts in your mind as we engage with the purpose and structure of Unit 1, Learning with a Sense of Purpose. In this section of the PD, we will provide an overview of the structure of Unit 1, Learning with a Sense of Purpose. Then we will review each of the 7 lessons in the unit. An essential question underlying this first unit is at the center of this diagram in yellow. How does my learning at school help me prepare to become the person I want to be and make a difference in my community and in my world? Each lesson in the 4S curriculum includes these 6 components so that you and your students know what to expect from lesson to lesson and unit to unit. Lessons will begin with a do now, then proceed to a dedication to build belonging. Then the teacher will present an introduction to the day's lesson to frame the learning objective and provide an overview of the lesson. Then the class will engage with the main activities for the day. Finally, the lesson will end with a closure activity and an exit ticket, and the teacher will provide any related extension or homework activities. In the next several pages, we will discuss each of these sections in a little more detail. Many teachers use Do Now activities in a variety of subjects and across a range of grade levels. A Do Now is a brief activity, usually 3 to 5 minutes long, for students to engage in independently as soon as they enter the classroom. Some Do Nows involve a quick write or sketch on a half piece of paper, while others invite students to share their thoughts with a classmate or seat partner. Do Nows are designed to whet students' interest and help them begin thinking about the topic of the lesson. A lesson dedication is designed to gradually build our learning community. On the second day of the course, you will share a 30 to 60-second presentation about an inspirational person in your life. Each subsequent day, a different student will present the dedication to a real or fictional person that inspires them. If the student has supplied a photo of the person, you can add it to the slide or simply replace the slide with the photo. This brief ritual is intended to center and focus the class while building community. This section, the introduction, can be quite brief or somewhat longer. It often builds on the Do Now activity. Here, you will highlight the relevance of the day's topic, present the agenda, and may introduce important vocabulary. Most lessons will include 2 or 3 multifaceted activity sections, including a balanced mix of direct instruction, whole class discussion, partner or team collaboration, and individual exploration. Knowing your students will inform what will work best with them. Feel free to adjust activities based on your classroom context and your students. Each lesson ends with a brief whole class closure. This often includes an exit ticket for students to submit as they leave the class. Exit tickets are regularly used to check for understanding after each lesson. Homework is not required in the 4S course, but suggestions are provided in case you would like to assign homework. You can also use these activities within your class if your schedule allows for more time to be dedicated to the 4S program. In some cases, we have also provided guidance for ways you can adapt the lesson if your time in the schedule is shorter than the curriculum is written for. Some lessons offer specific student activity sheets, like the one shown on this page in the hard copy and e-versions of the teacher's manual that you'll see when preparing your lessons in advance. If so, you may opt for duplicating them for students' use or forward these on to students as fillable forms if each student has a laptop. Now this section reviews the main activities for each of the lessons in Unit 1. The title of Lesson 1 is Introduction to Skills for Secondary School Success. The main learning objective for the first lesson in Unit 1 is students will begin to build a positive classroom community and will gain an overview of what they will learn and do in the 4S course. To reach this objective, students will engage in 2 main activities. The first activity is a birthday lineup community building activity. The goal is for students to line up in order of their birthdays from January 1 to December 31 as quickly as possible without speaking. Students can use paper to write messages using the paper provided. You will then lead the class in a debrief. The following questions can be used to guide the debrief and help students think at a higher level about their experiences in this activity. Number 1. What did you notice about strategies you used to make this work? Number 2. What steps could have helped us do this faster, besides being able to talk out loud? Number 3. Did you find anyone with a birthday close to yours that you didn't already know about? The second activity of Lesson 1 is designed to give students an overview of the 4S curriculum and how the learning will help them prepare for high school success. The students will be divided into 5 groups by birthday. Students will do a gallery walk around 5 stations to discover what each of the 5 units in the 4S program will focus on. You can encourage students to discuss or post responses using Post-it notes to the questions at each unit station. Groups will spend about 4 to 5 minutes at each station. At the end of the activity, invite students to briefly report on what they noticed. What are they looking forward to the most in the 4S program? To prepare for this lesson, you will need to print a poster for each unit to post at each station with the questions for the students to discuss or respond to. These posters can be found on pages 5 to 10 of the Teacher's Manual, or in the Curriculum Materials for Unit 1 module in the 4S Google Classroom. For the second lesson in Unit 1, we will walk through the PowerPoint presentation to see the structure of the presentations that are available for each lesson in every unit. The title of Lesson 2 is You Are the Author of Your Life Story. The objective for Lesson 2 is students will explore their own personality, values, talents, skills, interests, and goals. Students will note a few fast facts about themselves in a reflection sheet for the Do Now activity. The title of the second lesson in Unit 1 is You Are the Author of Your Life Story. This is where you, as the teacher, presents a brief 30 to 60-second dedication to a person that inspires you. You can replace this picture with a picture of your person if you wish. The agenda for this second lesson is shown. It represents a structure that is similar for all the lessons in the 4S curriculum. You will introduce this second lesson with several big ideas about who am I and what is my purpose. One of the most important things human beings do is to think about or contemplate their existence, their being, who they are. We are all philosophers. I am awesomely and wonderfully made. I know my soul. I plucked my soul out of its secret place and held it to the mirror of my eye, to see it like a star against the sky, a twitching body quivering in space, a spark of passion shining on my face. Claude McKay, Jamaican-born poet in Harlem, New York, 1922. You can then guide a short discussion about the deeper meaning of the short segment of poetry on the previous page. What comes to mind for you when you hear the words, I plucked my soul out of its secret place? What do you think McKay means by, and held it to the mirror of my eye. What things does he compare his soul to? How does it make you feel to think of your soul in these ways? Why do you think it is a good thing to spend time looking inward and seeking to know yourself better? To see it like a star against the sky, a twitching body quivering in space, a spark of passion shining on my face. You will then introduce students to the first student activity in this lesson. The starring role in your life story, inviting my soul to take the time to consider who I am. The purpose of this activity is to explore one's own personality, interests, skills, values, talents, and goals. Students will engage in partner reading with the text, the starring role in your life story. Each student in a pair takes turns reading a sentence out loud in the text. Both partners should follow along in the text even when it is not their turn. You may choose to pair students homogeneously, heterogeneously, randomly, or by some other method. Students will then engage in independent reflection using the reflection sheet, the starring role in your life story. Students will then share their thoughts and work from their independent reflection time with a partner. At times throughout the 4S curriculum, we have included some information about how the current day's work connects with future work coming up. This helps build cohesion across the ideas in the lessons and unit. Now take a moment to consider to yourself, how familiar do you think your students will be with the ideas presented and discussed in these first 2 lessons? How do you think they will react to these lesson activities? What ideas do you have for keeping them engaged? You can use these ideas to help prepare for launching the 4S program and also to prepare for this specific lesson. The remainder of the training on the lessons in Unit 1 will only highlight the main activities of each lesson. The title of Lesson 3 is Expressing My Identity Creatively. The objective for Lesson 3 is students will create a poem, rap, or spoken word to explore their own personality, values, talents, skills, interests, and goals. To reach this objective, students will engage in 2 main activities. The first activity is students creating their own poems, raps, or spoken word performances. You can provide these examples as guidance. The third lesson in Unit 1 gives space for student volunteers to share their poems, raps, or spoken words with the class. If the class is large or there are many volunteers, you could possibly have students share in small groups to the other students in their group while you circulate. The title of Lesson 4 is Career Exploration 1. The objective for Lesson 4 is students will tentatively identify Holland codes matching their personality and interests. Students will explore and select at least 3 career options related to their Holland codes. The first activity in Lesson 4 offers students the chance to explore their Holland career codes. Holland career codes were developed in 1958 by psychologist John Holland as a way of putting career options into categories based on the personality types of people who do well in those careers. The Holland career framework is just one way of categorizing different career types. But for many years, it has proven useful in helping people identify careers to pursue that they would find satisfying and enjoyable. You can find more information about Holland career codes on pages 24 to 25 in the teacher's manual. In this activity, students will complete the All About Me questionnaire to identify their top 2 categories. The second part of the activity engages students with the Holland Career Hexagon to learn about the 6 Holland codes, engaging the students in a discussion about each category using the questions on page 24 of the teacher's manual. For this activity, students will be working with a partner either on the internet, the ONET online interests search, or using the Which Jobs Are Right for Me PowerPoint slide, number 10, or a printed copy of the teacher's manual, pages 31 to 34, where they can explore careers that might be of interest to them in the future. The title of Lesson 5 is Career Exploration 2. The objective for Lesson 5 is students will further investigate Holland Code-related careers of interest, considering job outlooks, lifestyle impacts, and preparation required. Students may explore academic offerings at a local 2- or 4-year college. In the first main activity of Lesson 5, students will explain and discuss the terms job security and job outlook, so students are aware of the risks and opportunities they may encounter in selecting a future career. Each student will need at least 3 of the career profile sheets in either paper copy or electronically. Use pages 37 and 38 in the teacher's manual as your guide, or PowerPoint slides 11 and 12 to explain the process of exploring the Occupational Outlook Handbook website to gather the career profile information. You will need to actively circulate around the room to assist students as needed. For the second main activity in Lesson 5, students will share what they learned about during their career option exploration. The title of Lesson 6 is My Future Self Part 1. The objective for Lesson 6 is students will understand the importance of having clear direction and a life's blueprint, vision for their future. The first activity in Lesson 6 teaches students about Martin Luther King Jr.'s Life's Blueprint speech and has students reflect on their own values, passions, and future aspirations. In this second activity of Lesson 6, students will explore examples of how they might create or design their own life's blueprints by constructing visualization boards or products that represent how they see their future selves. This may be homework, or students can complete these in the next lesson day. The title of Lesson 7 is My Future Self Part 2. The objective for Lesson 7 is students will understand the importance of having clear direction and a life's blueprint vision for their future. The first activity in Lesson 7 gives students space and time to finish constructing their life's blueprint visualization boards or products. In the second activity of Lesson 7, students will share their boards or work product with their team or a partner. That concludes Unit 1, Introduction to Skills for Secondary School Success. The teacher's manual, all the classroom materials, and PowerPoint presentations are posted in the 4S Google Classroom. Please take a moment to reflect on the following questions. How will you help students understand how what they are learning and discussing in Unit 1 can help them to be successful in high school and in life after high school? What challenges do you foresee in helping engage students and understand the connections between what they are doing in school now and how it relates to their future? How can you overcome those challenges? Best of luck leading Unit 1 in your class. We will see you next time for the Professional Development Training session for Unit 2.